Hey everyone. Happy Saturday. We are at day 27, and I am just learning so much about just social media, this live streaming. We are 27 days in, and I'm still learning. I know that it's a weekend, and so people are relaxing, people are busy, but I still wanted to hop on. This is day 27 out of 30 days of going live based off of the Equitable Grading and STEM Planner, a 30-day transformational planner to help educators. And it's while I may give more examples that are focused towards STEM, a lot of the reflection and the actions are something that anyone can apply no matter what your content area is. It's all about trying to infuse more equitable grading practices into your classroom. Um, so Jumping in on day 27, one of the things I like to do is start off with a quote. And so the quote for today is an anonymous quote, and it says, "A reflective mind leads to an innovative classroom." A reflective mind leads to an innovative classroom. I would say a reflective mind also leads to an improved classroom, a more equitable classroom, a more inclusive classroom, all of those things. When we have time and we dedicate time to pause and reflect. Today's topic, though, is student voices. So we're focusing on student voices. How are we amplifying student voices through student agency and through our equitable grading? So, when it comes to a fast paced or rigorous class like AP Bio, AP Chem, or calculus or physics class, students can often feel like the course is happening to them instead of with them. So when we invite students to reflect on their own growth, which we talked a lot about yesterday and actually this week, so when we give them that space to reflect on their growth and allow their voices to be heard, their own learning shifts, right? Give students an opportunity to voice their learning goals. And that level of ownership is now going to take ownership to the next level. And that's where true confidence actually begins. Because we're talking about, in these 10 days, really, how do we increase student self efficacy? And it has to begin with them believing that they have some ownership over how they progress in your class, right? That's what self efficacy really is. It's a belief in my ability to do well. But if it's something that I think is out of my control, or it's something that I know that I have very little influence over, it's going to reduce my motivation to even want to try to do better in that class. But then it's also going to signal to me that, hey, no matter how hard I work, I really am not in control. And therefore, why should I put in the extra work? Why should I work harder? So, the reflection prompt for you today is, how do you encourage students to reflect on their own growth in ways that feel authentic and not just like an extra assignment? So, as we think about some of those ways that we can do that, what you might want to do, and I did say something similar to this about a couple of days ago, but it's create self-reflection, right? Create a self-reflection form that students can use either weekly or monthly or at the end of a unit, but something that's simple yet will still be powerful to them. Here are three questions that you might want to consider putting on there, right? So, one, what concept or skill do I understand better now than I did last week? What is one area I want to grow in next? Thinking about in this class, right? What strategy helped me learn best this week? So that's something that you could have them do on a weekly basis. It could be part of an exit ticket, maybe at the end of the week on a Friday or on a Thursday, so that you have a chance to respond to some students, maybe give them some strategies based off of what they name, something for them to consider going into the following week on. And then some additional reflection questions that are just general that you might want to have students answer are like, what are some of the most challenging problems or concepts that I encountered this week? And how did I work through it? Maybe even giving them an opportunity to evaluate how they work through it, right? And then for you, uh, thinking about giving them an opportunity to really think about what it means to teach a particular concept, you can ask them, if you were teaching this lesson to a younger student, how would you explain it? I remember doing an activity where students actually created children's books based off of the cell theory and the history of the microscope. And then we partnered with younger classes in the elementary school for students to share the book that they created. This was a great opportunity, and we know that there's so many different study skill strategies that involve teaching someone else. And that is one of the ways to increase your own and clarify your own understanding. So, this as a reflection question is just another way of getting students to go a little bit deeper, solidify what it is that they do know, and elevate what it is that they don't know or may need more clarification on within that week. And then the last question that might be a general question that you may want a general reflection question that you may want to give them is, what mistake taught you the most this week? And we had a whole day on elevating and normalizing mistakes as a way for students to learn. This is another way to bring that back in an exciting way, right? What mistake taught you the most this week? I actually love that also as an adult to model. So if you can come up with an example that you can think of for that week, share it with students and let them know, hey, this is our day to really think about the wonderful and glorious mistakes that we made.